Oh, there we go. Hey guys, Adam Tajdin here, and if it's working, which I believe it is, sorry, I had some technical difficulties. It's so fun to have technical difficulties, right? Technical difficulties. Next time I could have the TV going too in the background. Look, it's like a nice shine there. We're doing an impromptu webinar. Hi, whoever's watching, about getting your products into stores. So I'll just jump right to it. Sorry about the delay. We'll jump right to it. So my name is Adam Tajdin. I have a company named Ultra Perform, and we've put the products in about 300 stores. 300 stores. A little over 300 stores. But I had to take a break from that when my dad had a heart attack. He was dealing with Alzheimer's and a few other things. So we moved away from that for a minute. But I wanted to share how you can get products into stores. And it's a little different than what I usually do, but that's all good. But I've grossed up to $50,000, $69,000 a month in sales. And had a few supplements. It was a supplement company, and I got them into over 300 stores. Harmon's was one of them. Many 7-Elevens, convenience stores, herbal shops, convenience stores, or C-stores as they call it. And one thing you might want to do, I'm going to be sharing a lot of information. I'm not sure if I'll be funny today, but I'll be sharing a lot of information. So, try to keep my head right there so I block it. And take notes. Sound good? Great. So, I'll be checking a few things here while I'm talking, just to make sure it's working. First thing you want to do, it's going to be a quick rundown. If you want more information, just contact me, and I can work with you more or answer more of your questions. But first of all, you have to get a product or products. It's good to start with one product, maybe two, but start with a product so that you have something to sell. That makes sense, right? You have to have a product to sell it. Now, your product could be a service too. So for people that are selling a service, whether you're a chiropractor, massage therapist, consultant, public speaker, whatever it might be, you can take this and just change some of the wording and use this to get your product or service into a store or into a client's place. So get a product. See what you do different with your product. We're down to number 5 already. I'll be sharing 25 items if we have enough time. See what is different with your product from other products. Differentiate. They call it a value. They call it just something that makes it different for you. What was the name? Value proposition. What is your value proposition for your product? Okay. And you want to look at that. What is your value proposition? What is different about your product? Now, one thing I noticed about people is they would get really stuck on that, and you don't have to get stuck on that. It's really irritating because people get stuck on that, and the main thing that might make you different is a different brand. You source it differently, and it's you. You are part of the product because however you've created, however if you've white labeled that product, however you rebranded it, however you've created it like from scratch, it's still your value proposition as part of you. And sometimes people, when they ask you those questions, they want to get stuck on that. But it's not really so important that you have to lose sleep. What's so different about my product? If you created it and you went after it for some reason, you can always create differences too if you want to by the way you service it, the way you guarantee it, the way you deliver it, even if you're just white labeling your product. Number 6, start securing capital and identify resources. So start securing capital, whether it's when I first started doing business years ago, I started a t-shirt business, and I started with my $200 cash reserve account at Mountain America. Or was it Mountain America? No, First Security. Wells Fargo. And I had a car, and I had a job, a car, and $200 cash reserve. So I was in business because I had 2 of my friends come to me and say they were artists and they want to go get t-shirts and do this. And what happened, we fooled around for about a month, got 1 client, the dog show, and they flaked out, disappeared, moved, and I was stuck with shirts and a verbal order because we didn't collect any money. And then a month later, I called them up and said, hey, I have shirts for you. Do you still want the order? And I got the shirts done, printed, and I was in business. That's different than what I'm talking about putting in stores, but you have to remember that you need to identify capital and keep identifying capital, whatever that might be, whether you're making 50 grand a year, 100 grand a year, you put savings aside, you're mortgaging your house. And we're not going to go into all that, like what you should do and should not do. You're raising capital, you're creating an executive summary, a business plan, a presentation to present to clients, a PPM. You could do a Kickstarter program. There's many options. Go to friends, family, the 5, I forget what the 5 are. Friends, family, there's 5 F's. I forget what they are, but if Chris Salter sees this, he can remind me what those are. But you go to the people you know, basically, and some of the people they know. Sometimes people will like a presentation. It's not their thing they want to invest in. It's not what they invest in, because someone might be invested in real estate. I know this guy that's a real prick, but he only really invests in real estate, and it has to be like a safe investment. But he could say, I'm not interested in that, but I know Bob and John might be interested in this opportunity. And it's an opportunity. Look at it. Don't beg for money. If the money doesn't come the way you want it, you can always say no and keep looking. Okay? Number 7, do market research for your product. You can choose something you really want to sell, but to do the research. So you can do market research and find what the market needs, like if you were in construction, right? Or wood. Let's say you wanted to sell wood, and you figure that's what the market needs. You could do that and sell wood, right? Sorry, I'm checking a couple things here. We're working. Are we working? And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But you find that do market research. If there's a dream or something you created that you want to sell, you could do that, but do the market research. See what you're going to have to do. Is there 100? Is there 1,000? Is there 500,000 competitors? I would say now you know that, it's good to get into a market that has less competition, but if you're really passionate about your product, it doesn't mean you can't succeed. 8, see what's out there. Now, I mentioned that already, see what's out there. Go out there and see what is available, what other products you have. I had an energy product and like a male and female sexual enhancer. I kept an eye out what was out there, and I tried to change my product a bit so that it wasn't the same as everything else. Now, what you're trying to do is capture some other market and capture some of the same market when you do that. It can be tricky. You could just fall in line and have another product with another name, just like what they have, but I suggest doing it a little differently. Okay, looks like we're working. So, number 9, who is your target end user buyer? Who is your target initial purchaser? These can be different because you're selling direct online to distributors, retailers, doctors, lawyers, plumbers. Who are you selling to? So if you're selling to a retail store, which is what we're talking about, getting your product in stores, web stores count also, that's a store too. What, okay, what are you trying to do? Are you selling a product that people going to the gym are using for pre-workout? Are you selling a product to a distributor that's selling to attorneys? You have to address both users. The end user, unless you're going direct to user, which we're not talking about today, we're talking about getting your product in stores. So you have to talk about both, what the store wants, what the people want. The people usually want the product to work, okay? And of course the store wants the product to work, but the main thing, and I might be addressing something else, I did write this, I know, so I'm not cheating. This is my typing. The stores want to know if it's going to sell and you're going to back it up. That's what they're interested in. Of course they want it to work, but their first concern is it going to sell? And are you just going to dump the product and take off? Sell it, gone. No customer service, no backup. Number 10, test market your product. Before you create a whole bunch of crap, get out there and see if your product is going to sell. If your product is, your idea is right. If you have an orange label and people don't like the orange label, you do questionnaires. I went to the swap meet and asked people before I picked a name. 3 names I had out, and I asked people what name they liked best. And I had to hustle at a swap meet. You had to hustle, especially to sell supplements. But it was cheap, it was easy, and it was a really good way to test market. And it taught me also a good way to promote my products in other stores. So test market your product. 11, packaging. Now I kind of touched upon this on number 10, packaging. Don't go crazy. Make something simple as it will change. You will progress and discover what more to put on your package. Now, you have to deal with quantity issues. When you go to a contract manufacturer of any kind, they want you to buy a whole bunch of stuff, right? I was talking to some clients about some scarves, and they wanted them woven, like specifically to a design. And I was like, you're gonna have to order a lot of those to get something that custom. Now, there might be something out there that you can get lower quantities. I don't know. I haven't dived into it yet. But you want to start with a lower quantity as often as you can, because you don't want a semi-truck full of energy drinks and you find out people don't like the taste, they don't like the can. They don't like the design. Now you're stuck with 5,000 or whatever, 20,000 cans of super duper cool energy drink, and you don't know, you've just found out you can't sell it because they don't like the color. That's it. You put a label on it, but you can't really put a label on a can, and you notice they like it better. So start small and work your way up. Even if you have a large capital, start with whatever your perspective is. Start small, work your way up. Okay. Look at your results from the test marketing and adjust how to present. And so I mentioned that because of the packaging. As you're test marketing, you start figuring out what do people like, what don't they like, and try to adjust that to the market, also keeping within your vision. You don't want to listen to everybody, because if you listen to everybody, you can't hear yourself. You'll get this question a lot. Can you produce the goods? Okay, you'll get this question a lot. Can you produce all the goods if we want more? Get set up that you can, but do small batches of your product so you can be set up to do more if needed. So big companies like Costco or Smith's or Walmart, big box stores, that's what they call them, big box stores. They want to know, am I going to be able to, if this really sells, will I be able to order pallets and truckloads of this? Even when you're starting small, you have to figure out, what can I do? What's the max production I can do from the company either I'm sourcing it from or another company that will do it more. Because you could always do that. Hey, I'm going to this company, they can only do this much. Can you do 500,000? Try to get that set up, whatever that is. Okay? And try to make sure you can show that you have the capital behind you. Adjust. All this said is great, but you should be able to adjust on the fly. Adjust your market. Adjust to your market. Adjust to your needs. Adjust to your investors. There are sometimes you will have to adjust to your investors, depending on where things are at. You want to stick to your dream, but be able to be a little flexible if you need be. If that makes sense. Create a sales list. Create a sales list of everyone you want to sell, whether you know them or not. Everyone that you could talk to make a sale, and start talking to them. 15. Find all the events in your field to go to and prepare. Again, if you don't have to kill it in one scope. Find out a balance between spending and bend. So try to go to events. You don't always have to go get a booth, right? You don't have to go spend 100 grand on things, but you could go research and check out the event. And I'm talking about conventions. I'm talking about different places where you could sell your product. Like for me, for supplements, there's one called Expo West. Great place to be, but I've walked it a few times to take a look at it. 16. Make a one sheet. Now, one sheet is I should have had one here. Make a one sheet of your products. What a one sheet is just a one sheet of paper. Now, this isn't it. This is just my notes. But a one sheet of paper that you can show your product as a picture of your product or an artistic rendition. If for some reason you didn't take a picture with your camera phone, cut it out. There's apps that will cut it out for you now very easily. Stick it on that page. If it's not the best picture, that's fine. Start somewhere and work your way up. And then it should have the pricing if you want, or not the pricing, just the description, and you can have a separate price list. It's up to you. You can have a pricing and quantity breakdowns if you want on your one sheet, or just the description of the product and what's available. For me, I had little sample packets that we sold in stores so they could try it before they bought a big bottle. But have that listed on your one sheet. Again, you can have the prices on there, or you don't have to have the prices on there. You have it on a price sheet. Look at how else, make a website, make cards, go online, educate yourself on how to sell in that field. It's okay if you don't know what you're doing. Everyone started somewhere and they didn't know what they were doing all the time. They didn't, right? Whatever skill you have, whatever you're good at, you didn't know how to do it at some point. So start wherever you're at, whatever age you're at, when you're 25, 35, 45, 65, 70, 80, if you do your best wherever you're at. How else, number 17, how else am I going to market my products? More and more exposure. The more exposure you have, especially if you're just starting out, the better chances you have of selling your product. I don't know if I get to that on here, but I call it the shotgun effect or the sniper effect. You can try to sell to everyone, right? You can let everyone know, which is usually a cheaper way to sell. You can also target and be precise like a sniper and target your market. I want to sell in retail stores. Okay, what kind of retail stores? I want to sell in herbal stores, or I want to sell in smoke shops, or I want to sell in chiropractor offices. Make a list of those people and go sell them. As you're selling those people, you will also notice others that you could take your market and sell to other places besides just your target market. And when you're starting out, those sales will help and add up. If you're being very exclusive, just keep that in mind. It just depends on what your product is. If you're selling a $50,000 item, you might have less customers, but more bang for your buck. You only need 5 customers a year, and you're making $2.5 million a year. If that's what you're doing, if that's what you want, you're making gross $250 a year, depending on your profit margin. Little line. Okay. So, number 18, salespeople, sales distributors, interns, reps. Get people on your team, whether you're good with people or not. Some people will flake, not show up. You'll have to deal with all the different things with people. People can be difficult. People can be beautiful. Try to look at the positive of it always. But see what you can do, okay? And distributors, really, my experience is you have to go walk the pavement, get in a few stores before people start looking at you, because they want to see it's a viable, sellable item, and proof is proof. If you're selling in 10 stores and you're refilling the product or reservicing the product or reservicing the client, whatever it might be, reservice is what I'm saying. That's great. Number 18, keep securing capital. Just because you did it on number 6 doesn't mean you're not going to have to keep looking for capital, keep growing, and keep reinvesting in your company. Now, sometimes reinvestment comes from the company, but from my experience, you need to do both. Reinvest from the company and reinvest from outside sources so that you can grow. Otherwise, it takes longer to grow. Number 20, recharge all along the way. You need to charge your batteries and make sure you have plenty of energy, especially when things are down. Because when things are down, you don't have so much energy. When things were up, when I was grossing $50,000 a month, I was working 16 hours. I was like a pig in shit. I was so happy. I was like, wow, I'm doing my thing. I'm valuable. It fed all these things about my self-worth, and I was feeling great. It's harder when you're down, when you're low, when your checking account's low, or a client cancels, or a client yells at you. I've got a client right now that likes to yell, sometimes complain. It's a wonderful experience, but you have to keep going and keep your energy up. Keep your energy up, okay? Because that's like one of the most important things. Well, I worked 8 hours. That's nice. Work another 8. Now, does that mean you can't have a social life? Hell no. I believe you need to have a social life. Working 80 hours a week sucks. I've done it. You need a bit of both. Because if it's not affecting you now and you're just telling yourself, I'm going to be fine, this is what I need to do at the time, well, you may be wrong, okay? It's going to change your personality, and you're going to be a bore in 10 years or 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, whatever it might be. So number 21, keep going, selling, marketing, refine your packaging and product. Keep selling, keep marketing. It wasn't a mistake. You have to just kind of try to figure this out. But when I had my biggest client and I was selling as much product as I could make, it was difficult because I knew I had to keep selling other things, but I was so busy, right? And I had plenty of money in the bank, right? So your motivation may not be there. Now I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do an infomercial. I'm going to take 10 grand and do an infomercial and do this. That's what I'm going to do next. So you have to figure ways out to especially go during the good times, because you don't want to be reliant on one customer, and you have the fuel, you have the volume, you have the money to do other things. So always try to do other things, even if it's like you have to squeeze out an extra half hour in your day, figure that out. Take care of yourself too. I didn't put that on this list. Exercise, work out, stay strong, eat right, because eventually it will catch up with you. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Keep asking yourself. Okay, so we got 21, keep going, keep selling. 22, how can I get more sales? What's missing? Schedule time for and pursuing whatever you discover. What else do I need? What other products and what can I create to add to your line, right? We're talking about products. Maybe it's services. Maybe it's a tweak on a product or a service. Maybe one thing I did was I had two main products and I rebranded them and called them something else. And so I was selling the same product under different brands. And it was funny. Sometimes I'd be in the store, we'd be restocking, and they'd say my product was Accelerator. And they'd say, oh, yeah, I tried the Accelerator. It wasn't that good. But the Kick Butt Energy really kicks butt. And that one was exactly the same product, just a different label. And there's nothing mysterious or weird about it or unethical. It says it on the back, the same ingredients, and they're just different color, different branding, totally different branding. Kick Butt Energy, Accelerator. One was black, one was bright colors. It's funny, my nose itches out here. Okay, so 23, keep building brand loyalty. You need to keep building brand loyalty, whether it's your delivery time, your quality of product, free gifts, whatever it is, whatever your unique value proposition is that you've created up ahead on number 5, keep applying that to your product. Oh, well, we like to have an event every month and invite all our customers to it, and we have free cookies or that I made at home, and people love my cookies. They'll like die for them, whatever it might be. Free drinks. You have a dance instructor come once a month and do that, like once a month. Keep building brand equity. There's many other things you could do. Giveaways once a month. You don't have to deal directly. You don't have to have a party, but those are some options, right? Gift a free order to a client. Whatever that regularly orders from you, send them a free bottle of product or a free hour of service, whatever it might be for you to increase and build brand loyalty. Nothing that you need to do, nothing that they ask for. Keep building brand loyalty. 24, refine your business, keep growing, keep expanding, finding managers so you can continue on the creation. You can't do it all yourself. You have to build a team. A team will show up, or will show up because you take action to do it. Number 25, we're coming on 30 minutes. So number 25, and last but not least, you're doing this all for a reason, because you're going to either sell your company for whatever price you planned on, hundreds of millions of dollars or $100,000, whatever it might be, whatever your exit plan is, or you're going to continue for the rest of your life, and that's fine too. But you have to show something to your investors. You can pay them dividends too, right? You don't have to sell. That's a lot of the time what people like to see is sell, but some people would like to see the dividend also. So thank you guys that did watch for watching and listening to me. My name is Adam Tajuddin. I'm a host on a few shows, Ultra Perform Show, Performing Your Best in Business and Life, The Last Call Entertainment Podcast, and Passion Living with Adam, which is about health, wellness, exercise, and peace of mind. You can find me here on Facebook and YouTube. We're going live today on Facebook and YouTube. Maybe next time I'll do it all on the radio stations and stuff under a new program that we do. Anyone have any questions? Now is the time. If you have questions, feel free to ask me, either private message me. My name is Adam Tajuddin, and if you found this, you can find my name somehow, and you can send me my numbers right on my pages, my social media pages, so you can find me on that. You can send me a message. You can send a pigeon to my house, whatever it might be. Go for it. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all, and I hope you have a great life, great day, great night, and I look forward to seeing you soon. See ya.